All right. Oh boy, look how low that camera is. Today is Thursday, March 5th, 2026. It's almost Friday, boys. The week is almost over. It's been a long week. It feels like it's been a really long week because I traveled home on Monday, and so it just feels like it feels like I've been home for like 6 months. It feels like I've been home for 6 months when in reality I have been home for less than a week. I haven't even, let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I haven't even been home for 4 days. And it already feels like I have been home for a very long time. And of course, I am your buddy Addy, and I'm here to do a stream tonight. Not sure is in the house. What's up with the green border? That is an extension on VS Code that I use called Peacock. Because sometimes when you have multiple VS Code, when you have multiple instances of VS Code open, you get confused, right? Or at least I do. I mean, not everybody. I am not blessed with a genius brain like a lot of people, but sometimes you get confused as to what instance of VS Code you're looking at. So I use an extension of VS Code called Peacock, where you can actually color. You can color the borders so that it's easy to tell what you're looking at. But yep. So anyway, and then I downloaded some stuff this morning. So I thought today we would work on what I thought. I need to figure out what I'm going to do about this, about being able to work on the game live on stream. I expressed an idea last night about where I could use a different computer for streaming, and then use this computer. Like I have a whole setup in mind. The problem is I don't have time to set it up, so I'm going to set it up over the weekend. So that means tonight and tomorrow night, we're gonna work on something adjacent to the game. We're gonna work on adjacent stuff to the game. So we'll work on that tonight and tomorrow night, and then hopefully over the weekend, I will be able to set up this whole setup that I envision, this whole different like broadcasting from one computer hooked up to another, this with the Matrix going and Neo looking at the White Rabbit with the lines running. Like we're gonna have the whole thing going on. And so garage stream, no. I'll be doing it right here in this office. I just need to set it up, right? Like I need to grab one of my laptops. I need to probably install Windows on the laptop. I need to make sure it's going to work, and then I need to basically get the output of this going into the input of that, and then make sure I can stream from that computer, make sure this microphone hooks up to that computer, make sure the camera will have to hook up to the computer. So I'll basically, that will be the streaming computer. This will be the development computer. And that's the setup we're going to have. It's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass because this monitor right here, so not the monitor you're looking at, which is this one here, right? Like this one right here. It's over here. It's right there, right? Like that's going to be a pain in the ass. But but this tall monitor here, I feel is going to be like a waste. But maybe not. We'll see. Maybe I can actually, you know what? Maybe I can RDP. Actually, that's a better idea than setting up Synergy. What I can do is I can RDP into the broadcast machine, and that's okay. Let me show you what I'm talking about, right? So you got this computer here, that's the one with the green border, but then there's this tall one here, right? You can see my Naughty Boy browser, and that's with the so that is the one. So what I'm thinking is I can RDP into the other machine, have that RDP instance on the vertical monitor, and then yeah, that should work great. That actually should work pretty well. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'm a genius. 2 PCs, 1 programmer. That sounds like the makings of a naughty video. So I hope everybody is having a great day. So I thought, let me talk a little bit about what I want to work on tonight. It's not the map stuff, even though I find the map stuff fascinating because I do love building maps. I love just the world building aspect, and like I really want to get like this website. Like I want to have like actual legit maps and everything. We'll get there. We'll get there in time. There's no rush. But I want to work on something that is actually relevant to gameplay. So let me talk a little bit about that. So one of the things I've talked about. So if you go to if you actually, I guess if you just go to yonora.world, it talks like this is a whole wiki page for the in-game world, and I don't know if I think I mentioned it here somewhere in here, maybe under computing. Yeah, so the in-game world. Again, I'm doing world building, so if you don't like world building, go watch a Nick Fuentes stream or something, okay? But so in the in-game world, there's a whole story about the state of the world and why the state of the world is very melancholy. I'll let you go figure that out on your read it on your own. But the way I envision the technology of the in-game world is that it is kind of like a stunted technology that we would have had in the 1980s, but it's missing certain things, right? Like there's no plane travel, and there's reasons for that. There's technical reasons for that. It's a hard science fiction. No, but there's no, but it's like I would say like the late 80s, early 90s. That is the technology that they have in this world, and one of the things they have is this this interlink system, right, which is basically their version of the internet. Now think CompuServe. Now if you're like less than 40 years old, you probably have no idea what CompuServe is, but CompuServe was one of the original online services, and when it first came out, it was text-based. It was or think just like a Linux prompt, right? Like if you get dropped into, or a command prompt, right? Like you get dropped into a Linux, like this is a command prompt, but the internet used to be text based, right? That's what the internet used to be. And so that's what this interlink system is like. Now, part of that, what I would really love in the game, and again, this is game adjacent, right? Is to have it such that in the game there will be computer assets in the game, and have it such that you can actually go up to a computer and then you click the E or Q, or press E or Q to interact with the computer, and then you're dropped into the terminal. And now from the terminal you can interact, right? You can interact with you can browse the interlink, right? Whatever that means. But one of the things that I think would just be so cool to do, because mostly, and when I say it would be so cool to do, I don't necessarily mean that it would be so cool in terms of gameplay. I more so mean it would be so cool to implement from a programmer standpoint, okay? So what I think what would be really cool is, so this wiki page, what I've got so far, the data on here, the text, the stories, it's told from the point of view of the in-game world, except for this about right here. This explains to like Earth humans, essentially. This explains to Earth humans like what this is, and it talks about this is a fictional Wikipedia for a fictional world. It talks a little bit about the major events of the world, and talks a little bit about the modern day planet, whatever. So, but what I think would be really cool is if you could browse this data in the game. And so you would have this version, which is yonora.world, right? Which you could view from, like outside the game from a normal person, or inside the world, you could also view this same data, okay? And you could do it within an interface that is like whatever we would have to define, like the interlink face. So like imagine like a terminal prop, and then like load Yonora dot like semicolon world, right? And then it loads up a thing, and then you can like navigate it. We'll have to come up with a navigation system. I can't read the about page. It's white on white. What? This? It is not white on white. No, it's not. This right here. I'm going to put the link. I'm going to put the link in the Discord. I'm going to put it in the live stream chat. That is not white on white. Oh, that's not good. Well, why did that break? Is it because it's... Oh, that's not good. Okay. Well, now I'm intrigued. Why does that work? Oh, think I'm 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 excuse me? Excuse me? Okay. I think that's a routing problem, but if you go to Yonora.world and then you click the about screen, that should not be. Let me know if you're seeing that as white on white. Let me actually load up a different browser just to see. I'm going to load up Min. Do I have Min installed? I do have Min installed. So let me look up at the minimum browser. And then, but I'm going to, okay, there's Min. Let me see. Okay, if I go to about, yeah. I think that's a problem with you, not sure. That's a you problem. White on... All right, I'm looking at the screenshot. Is this because you're using some fucking stupid... Is this because you're using some fucking stupid dark mode? Although that doesn't make sense either. Huh. It has to be something with a mode, because look at this. Look, it has to be like dark mode versus light mode, because look up here you have... Up here, it's a white banner at top. Meanwhile, here you have black. Let me clear cookies. That is bizarre. Actually, I'm not gonna bother with the clearing cookies. Give me a second. If I go here, but it works fine here. Okay, Firefox. Let me try Firefox. I'm on Chrome. I'm on Chrome too. Let me try an incognito browser. This is interesting. This is an interesting problem. This is not the interesting problem I wanted to look at tonight. No. So this must be something to do with your... This has... the only thing I can guess is that like your OS has like some dark mode. So let me see if... Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into the website and we're going to load it up. And I'm just going to ask AI, because a lot of this website development has been done with AI. So let me see. So let me go just... Okay, I think if we just go to app.tsx. No. All right, let me see. Okay. Some users are complaining that the about screen is white on white text and is unreadable. However, when they send me a screenshot, I noticed that the top navigation bar has a black background. So I'm thinking they have a stupid fucking idiotic dark mode setting, because they think they're 14-year-old Finnish hackers, and some styles on the website are detecting light versus dark mode, and it is causing issues. Can you verify if that is indeed what is happening and fix it? Let's just see what the AI says. Fix it. I gotta pee. Let me see what this says. Okay. Color, light scheme. Yeah. The stupid dark mode is in your CSS, but how do you toggle it? No, I didn't code it in raw HTML. AI coded it. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's see. The AI is working. Okay, found it. The issue is in index, white, dark background. But about page hard codes the light background. Okay, let me fix it. So dark mode users get white text. Okay, so it basically was what I was saying. Fixed it. I added color at about page. Okay, so keep. Okay. All right. So here is the power. Here is the power of a CI/CD pipeline, right? So I am. Hopefully this actually works though. So if we look at the change it did. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I understand the change that the. Well, let's run it real quick before I actually show you the power of a CI/CD pipeline. Node run dev. Oh God, I got to do I got to do the faith no more command. I always forget the faith no more command. I think I added it in here though. Faith no more space. All right, so let me go here. Okay, I need to do this. There's like these commands I need to do before I can actually run Node. Okay, we can come in here. And then now we should be able to do Node or npm run dev. I just want to make sure it still works locally before I push anything. Let's see what it looks like locally. It always takes a second. It always takes the first. Okay, so locally, it still looks good. So let's go ahead and push this. So everything is set such that when I push this, fixing text for idiotic dark mode users. So when I push this, it'll take a second to run, but it will just automatically deploy everything to the website. So we can go ahead and trace. Actually, let's just actually go back here. And then I am going to have to take a piss in a second because I have to pee. Wait a minute. Repositories. It's probably already done. You know, our website. Actions. Okay. Where does CSS look up OS dark mode? I'm assuming it is I'm assuming it's some special CSS setting. So what I was thinking, CSS has come a very long way, right? And so I'm assuming that there is some way inside of CSS to kind of automatically support dark light mode. That's a guess. I am not a web developer. That is just me guessing. And it makes sense because you idiots love dark mode. I do not understand, but you fucking morons love dark mode. I love you guys. I know I'm insulting you, but I will never, ever, ever understand dark mode. Ever. It is retarded. It is, and yes, I'm going hard R using the retarded word. It is retarded. So, okay. It has pushed. So let me see if. So go ahead and go to the about, and then if you're in Chrome, do Control-Shift-R to force. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's not going to work. All right. I don't know why. That's a different thing. So I would try it now. Just try it now. And if you're still seeing it, try it in like an incognito browser, in a new incognito browser. So enjoy burnt retinas. That's always the excuse. Enjoy burnt retinas because it just hurts your eyes because of the wine. Oh, jeez. You don't like dark altogether. I mean, that's not true. That is not true, and I know that is not true. All right, let me know if it's working now. Let me know. I'm gonna go pee. While I go pee, you guys reload that and let me see it. Let me know if it works. I'll be right back. does it? So, well, okay. Matthew says it. He's going to shower. Could anybody bother to tell me if it works or not? Anybody? Does it work? Like, did that work? Like, not sure. Are you fine? Are you able to see the actual, like? Are you able to see? I post. Oh, Jesus Christ. No, you didn't post an answer, or you posted some link about dark mode. I'm asking you if the website is fixed. Why are people so dense? Why? It's like I ask a question, and it's like I ask a question, and people are just, they answer some tangent question. Like, hey, do you have $10 I could borrow? And then the question, it's like, well, I have a savings account and it earned 5% interest last year where I made an entire $100. That's fucking great. Can I borrow $5? Like, oh my God, answer the question. Why is it so difficult for people to answer a question? I don't understand. Shit's still broken. Did you try incognito? All right, here, I'm going to ask Razman. Razman, what I want you to, let me, just wait a second. All right, let me go in here. No, you did not try incognito. Would you please try incognito? Well, I only have Ubuntu 24 installed because I heard that they're coming out with 26 very soon, and so I want to wait for that before. It's just like, well, just fucking try incognito. I don't care what version of Ubuntu you're using. Shit's also broken in incognito. All right, that's interesting. That is interesting. I'm convinced it has something to do with your shitty dark mode settings. Because that's the only delta I can... Razman, do you have dark... Okay, Razman... Is Razman still there? No, wait, it works. Okay, so it works. Okay, fine. It works. Okay, good. You might have had to do like a force refresh on the root page, and then from there, click about. So, Razman, what we're talking about is... Let me get into the... Let me get into the stream so I can post a link. I'm bullying. This is supposed to be an anti-bullying stream. So this is the link that's the link we're talking about, Razman. And Razman's going to hate this because he's Mexican. So he's going to hate anything that has to do with imaginary worlds because those people are really weird when it comes to fictional worlds. Don't ask me why. But and so if you go to the about page, it explains everything about what this is. And Not Sure was saying that it was white on white violence. I mean, white on white text, and he couldn't read it. And so I pushed a fix, and then I asked whether or not it was fixed, and he proceeds to tell me about dark mode websites detecting and everything in Grok instead of actually just answering whether or not it was fixed. But it's fixed now, so we're good. Okay. All right. So we can figure out later what to do. Okay, but I want to get to what the original intent of this stream was. And Razman, if you're just joining, we're not able to work on the actual gameplay right now because of technical issues, but those will be fixed over the weekend. So for tonight, we're going to work on something adjacent to it. We're going to work because there's a whole world to build. Let's resolve this tech debt. What tech debt? What are you talking about? Like the tech debt? What tech debt do you want to resolve? A trip to Micro Center fixes all. Okay, well, we're gonna fix it over the weekend. I think I already have everything I need. I'm pretty sure I have everything I need to fix this. I just need to put it there. Okay, press F5. Yes, I know that's broken. Not sure. I know. I covered that already. That's some routing issue that I don't feel like dealing with right now. I don't feel like dealing with that. Okay, fine. Let's just ask AI. But let's first see if we can recreate the issue locally. All right. So to recreate locally, we would go here. That's local. And then we would go to about, and then we'll press F5. Okay, so it works just fine, which means it is probably a remote server problem, if I had to guess. But I don't feel like guessing right now. I don't feel like
I don't want to work on that. I want to work on the I want to work on the thing that's supposed to be interesting, okay? Can we work on that? Can we just please work on that? Please? Please? Okay. Thank you. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm banning you. I can't take it. It's like talking to my mother. Like she drives me nuts. I love my mom. I love my mom dearly. But oh my god, she drives me nuts when I'm talking to her. I have no patience. I have none. Okay. We're going to move on. We're going to move on. All right? We're going to move on. We're moving on. We're moving on. Okay. So, let me talk. So, again, we have this interlink system, this in-game internet. Have you not paid your $5 Versal subscription? I don't know what Versal is. So we have this in-game internet type system. And what I think would be really neat, and I think it would be really neat just because it would be really neat to implement, right? It's not necessarily neat from a game, from a player experience, but just as a programmer implementing it, it's a neat challenge. And let me explain why it's a neat challenge, okay? So this website, it's split into 3 parts. Right now, I'm only using 2, but it's split into 3. The first part is the wiki page, or is the actual wiki data. And you can look at that if you go to GitHub. What is it? It's if you just go, I think I renamed it today. If you go to Yonora-wiki, should actually be all lowercase. If you go here, this information is all. I'm going to split this. I will say I do like the split feature in Chrome. That is I've been using that quite a bit. Add tab to new split view. Okay, so if you go over here, the data. Now I'll talk a little bit about why the maps are different, but like this summary data is the same. And you have the wiki data checked out as well. I have that checked out. So if I go to Yonora, I renamed the repos a little bit, so just bear with me. But this is the same. This repo is okay. It just shut up and let me talk, okay? Where did I put it? Oh, okay. So the way it works, you have these markdown files. So here, I'm just going to pick one. Let's pick St. Aveline, which of course is the name of the game that we've been working on. So I have everything set up nicely. It's set up nicely with automatic with a nice CID system. So here I put geography 22222 in there, and then okay, I'm just going to say demonstration of CI/CD, right? And so if I push this, what's going to happen is it's going to trigger builds. So I guess I should talk about how everything's split up. It's split into 3 sections. You have the wiki page, the wiki data, the markdown files, which is basically the wiki. That's basically the text, right? All of this stuff. And then you have the maps. The maps is a little chaotic right now, and we'll come back to that, but you have the map data. So you have this view right here. This is all it is right now, but I have big plans for this. Big plans. Like I even added like you can measure and like stuff like that and whatever, right? Big plans for it. And then so you have the wiki, the 3 sections are the wiki data, which is the markdown files. You have the map data, and then you have the website all together, which of course the website is just like, it's like the scaffolding that pulls in all the parts, or not scaffolding, the body or the scaffolding, the framework, right? It puts it all together. So, and so now since I did that change, I wonder if it's propagated yet. Yeah, so you can see that the change is propagated already onto the website. So let me undo that. But I'm gonna get to the point of what we're talking about. So what is this? Okay, so I'm just gonna. there's a lot of work to be done. So don't go around this website criticizing shit and be like, oh well, you still need to. Why doesn't this doesn't work like that? Just it's a fucking work in progress, okay? God damn, not sure pisses me off. All right, so that's the comment. I'm just gonna put that in there. Okay, so again, we have the wiki, we have the map, and we have the website. And the wiki is kind of like the data, right? It's kind of like the data store. That makes sense. So what I want is also for the data to be viewable in game in some computer terminal. So you could actually go, you could load up a computer terminal, you're dropped at something that looks like a Linux prompt or whatever, and then you can view the data. The interface and what the interface actually looks like, that is still to be determined, and hopefully we're going to determine some of that today and tonight and tomorrow. So the question becomes, how do you get the data out of the markdown being the wiki? How do you get the data out of the markdown? Somebody doesn't want to share my gambling winnings. What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking to. Look, you literally are my mother. Like, I don't know. Like, where did gambling winnings come into anything? Versal is very famous to host front-end websites. Great. What? Okay, great. Oh my God, you people drive me nuts. So, the question is, how do you get the data in a structured way? How do you get the data out of the markdown files in a way where you can have, so the way it would work, let me pull up the number one architect tool. This is used by architects all over the world. And this is paint.net, which is just as good as Microsoft Paint. Right. So if I have, let's see. So let's think about this. So I have you know what? I'm going to try and use something different. I'm going to try and use, is it draw.google? I want to make sure I don't show anything that, I don't want to show anything that's sensitive. So let me look at this really quick. I want to see what this file is right here. Sorry, but the file, okay. All right. What is the Google drawing program? Draw.google.com? No, that's not it. Draw Google Drawings. Okay, perfect. All right. So again, you have, oh boy, Will Tyler's here. Will, I was using AI earlier. You would have been proud. Okay. Let's see. How do we do this? Where's the toolbar? I just want to add something. Okay, here we go. Shapes. And then we'll do it like properly, right? So here is where you would have the wiki data, wiki/data. Ideally, you would have, so that's going to serve a couple of different things, right? It's going to serve the website, which is yanora.world, right? Yanora.world, which we just discovered apparently it has code in it that is sensitive to the dark/light mode scheme of your box. And then only here for if you have to go drop my car off at the shop for a recall. Well, you should have paid your bill. I mean, like, why are they recalling? Like, pay your bill and they won't have to recall your car, cheapo. Anyway, so you have the website, and then you have, and then we would have the in-game interleak system, right? Whatever you want to call it, interleak system. Okay, and so these will both of these will use the same data. They should be arrows. I'll do an arrow for this one. Actually, it should probably be a two-way arrow, but that's fine. Would it be a two-way arrow? No, I think it would be one way. It would be the other way. You know what? I'm not doing arrows because I know Not Sure is going to yell at me. So, but anyway, so the wiki data would serve both the website and the interlink system. This would be this. Oh my God! Stop! Stop! I want to label. Can I label? I want to label. Can I label this? Oh, my stars and garters. Oh, my stars and garters. All right, whatever. So this would be some REST API, and then this would just be, so that's how this would be served, right? And then this would be kind of like what I'm doing already. This would actually just kind of be done through TypeScript, more or less. Now, let me show you how this portion is done, okay? And then I'm going to talk a little bit about, so I'm going to show you how this top portion is done up here, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the bottom portion and how we want to implement the bottom portion. We're actually going to do some programming tonight. I'm fairly confident we're going to be able to do some. Okay, so let's talk, but first let's talk about how the TypeScript portion is done. So let me see, do I have FileZilla on here? And if I have FileZilla on here, can I FTP to the web server? Let's see. Give me a second. Okay. So if I go, I'm on the web server now. What you have is you have basically what you have in the website repo, which I don't know where that went, but just trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. It's actually not what's on the website repo. It is the compiled version of the website repo, because the website repo is actually all in TypeScript. And if you know anything about TypeScript, what happens is the TypeScript gets compiled down basically to one huge JavaScript file. So here, if you look here at the folder structure, basically what is under dist is what gets uploaded. So this index.html, it basically just loads up this huge JavaScript file, which is right here. And that is the I shouldn't say compiled, that is the transpiled TypeScript. The TypeScript gets transpiled to JavaScript, okay? And so, what was I saying? I was talking about, so the way that this data gets shown on screen, let's talk about a very simple example, like this, for example. So what it does is if we go and we look at the website, let me see. If we look at the wiki page, new split view, so we come over here, easy. And then if I go to wiki and I go to the drift, all right, the drift, you can see it's exactly the same data. It's exactly the same data. So what's happening on the web version is, or on the website, on the web server, that's the word I'm looking for. The raw markdown files are on the web server. If I go here, you can see that they are all right here. Okay? And when you click on something on the left-hand side or whatever, basically the TypeScript will load up the markdown, and in real time it will convert it to HTML. All right, easy enough. Basically, markdown to HTML is actually very basic. It's very straightforward. Boom, boom, boom. It works. It's perfect. Abdul Rahim, remember me? No, I don't. I don't remember you. I was missing you so much, and I have no idea who you are. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't remember you at all. Okay, so you have a very basic process, right? So basically, the left-hand side, this is going to change, but for right now, the left-hand side, this is all populated by essentially just doing an ls of this folder, and then doing some like replacing underscores with spaces and things like that. But it's basically the links over here on the left are literally just the files that are inside of this folder. It's not exact. There's a couple of little exceptions and stuff. But for the most part, that's what it is. All right. Now, so that is how we're doing the markdown. That's how I'm getting the markdown into a website to look like something that actually looks like some like HTML. Now, if I go over here you can see that I have this map. So this is Sabletown Isle. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the wiki and we're going to look at Sabletown Isle. Sabletown Isle. All right. So notice it is still the same data. It's actually the same file. It is the same exact file. And but there's this map on the website which is nowhere to be seen in the markdown. Well, that's not exactly true. It's nowhere to be seen in the rendered markdown. On the right-hand side, this is markdown that has been converted to HTML by GitHub. GitHub sees that this is a markdown file and it converts it directly to HTML. So, okay, great. But that doesn't answer the question of how is this map element, which is interactive, I can do all kinds of, I can like zoom in, zoom out, I can show layers, I can hide layers, I can use the ruler, like I can do all kinds of stuff, right? How does that element get rendered into the markdown? I hate that retards are converting farmland into solar farms. Whatever. Okay, so if I go and I look at the raw markdown, this is and you can see this right here. So what I am doing, what is being done actually is this. So first of all, most markdown to HTML converters, if they see, so first of all, I should say markdown, the specification for markdown allows HTML to be inside the markdown, right? So you can use the open, center, close, like you can use H1 and H2 and all of that stuff. Like you can use HTML elements inside of markdown. Now, what happens when most markdown to HTML tools, when you say, hey, convert this markdown to HTML, if it sees an HTML element, did you ban him? Don't ban him. Was he spamming? I didn't see him spamming. He sent a couple of messages. We need a commit. No, stop banning people. Stop just banning people because they sent like, oh my God. Oh my, I'm putting you in a timeout. You just love banning people. Ah, okay. Anyway, so I really dislike banning. I really dislike timeouts. And the reason I really, really dislike it is because it discourages participation. It discourages people from staying on your website, like in my message board. I really, really hate banning. Banning should only be done as an absolute last resort. I do not like banning because, like I said, it discourages people from participating in whatever platform you're banning them from. And generally, you want people to be participating. So if somebody is spamming, ask them to stop. And if they are like, fuck you or whatever, then yes, I see he's back, but please just like I was watching the chat. I didn't see any, like, it didn't look like he was spamming. Like I didn't, he sent like 3 or 4 messages in a row. All I'm saying is, don't discourage people from staying on the stream. Don't discourage people from participating in the chat. Try to, if they're not participating in a way you like, instead of just taking away their ability to participate, try to bring them over to participate in a nice way that everybody likes. Try to do that. Let's just all try to be friendly here. Okay, all right. So the way that I am able to get this map element into the markdown is, so since most markdown to HTML converters will ignore HTML elements that it doesn't understand, I am just using this one. I just say, okay, I have a map element and then I have some parameters. And so the tool that I am using on the left-hand side on the website, the tool that I am using to convert markdown to HTML what it will do is it will look for map elements basically. It'll look for this, and then it will do, and then when it generates the HTML, when it sees a map element, it will insert the appropriate HTML that it needs to in order to get this map to render. So by that method, I can put elements into the markdown that won't be rendered on the on GitHub, right? Like we saw that a second ago. I don't know where it went, but we saw that where the hell did it go? Whatever. Just trust me, bro. Just trust me. But we saw how like that the map element was not being rendered on GitHub. So if we go back, I just want to just to prove it to myself. What file were we looking at? We were looking at. Did I close it? What in the world is going on with me? I don't even know how to browse data anymore. Like I feel like I'm losing my mind. Where did I? Okay, I must have overwrote it or closed it or something. Anyway, you get the picture. I'm able to actually put elements into the HTML, into the markdown that will get rendered however I want in the HTML. Got it. So that solves the how do I get maps into the markdown files without them actually being displayed in the markdown repository. Now, okay, wiki. I'm gonna pin this so that I don't accidentally close it. And then what was the example? So that's not a good example. I mean, it is a good example. So if I look at St. Aveline, if I look at the St. Aveline wiki file, you can see. So this is actually a little special. So this is the original road I started down with my maps. Was okay, well, I'll just use images. It works, and I kind of stole this. I mean, not kind of. I stole this from Wikipedia. This is how Wikipedia does it. You can see the circle, and I think this actually is a pretty decent presentation. And so this is rendered in the markdown, because I'm using markdown elements to render the images, which are these. But when it gets converted to HTML, the files actually aren't uploaded, so they don't get rendered in the HTML. You would just reference the file name and relative directory structure, right? If you're talking about images, yes, that's what you do. That's what I'm doing. Yes, that's what I'm doing here. But my point is if you go to the website, which I'm going to load up, I'm going to pin that here. So this was St. Aveline. So if I look at the St. Aveline file, you can see that the images are not rendered here, but the map element is, and then obviously here. But if I look at the raw data, you'll see that here are the image files, which they actually do get rendered into the HTML. It's just that the PNG and JPEG files actually aren't on the server, so they don't show up. And then here's the map element. Okay, that's fine and dandy, but the question still remains: if I have some terminal program, right? If I and then let me see. Let me get a Scratch document up and running, or just load it. Let's just do new window. And I'm going to change this to, oh, it's not going to let me do that. So let's just do blah. I'm going to save this to the desktop. And I'm just going to save it as scratch.md. And now I can go ahead and do this. Peacock. I thought I could at least. I have to open a folder, don't I? Okay. Scratch.md. All right. And then from here, I should be able to do Peacock. Yes. Surprise me with a color, bro. Well, it surprised me with the same green. Okay. Surprise me with a color, bro. Okay, we'll go with gray. That's fine. All right. So, actually, I think that's a really nice shade. So let's say that let's say that this is the terminal, and then we could, let's say how, actually, you know what? I'm gonna move this. Where do I want to put this? I think I'm gonna put it under Yonora website for right now. So let me just go there. But I like this color a lot. What is this color? What is this peacock color? Copy the current color to clipboard. All right. Okay, so I'm going to close that. No, I don't want to save. Okay. Okay, perfect. And then peacock. Enter a color. All right. All right, I like that a lot. I like this color a lot. Okay. Be right back in 20 minutes. Great. So he's going to come back and ask a million questions about shit I've already answered. Great, great, great. No, it's Daniel from Solar Energy. Please don't ban him again. Please mention my name again. Not sure. Please don't. Okay. All right. Daniel, I just spent some time defending you. Calm down. Please don't make me ban you. All right. Backup mod stepping in for duty. Got it. Wait a minute. I think I just heard something at my door, and I'm pretty excited about the I'm pretty excited about my espresso thing. Let me see if that was what I heard. I'm just checking the order. Arriving today. Okay, so it wasn't it. It still hasn't arrived. Okay. All right. Perfect. So let's just come up with like a little what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask AI. Actually, I think I've asked AI about this before. Let me make sure that I have nothing. All right, so let's see. No. Let me see. Give me a second. Okay. I think that's good. And then we'll do this, and then we'll do this. Okay, perfect. Hey, Addy, you forgot me. You're starting to annoy me, Daniel, and I might just go ahead and permaban you. But don't! No permabanning of Daniel yet. No permabanning of Daniel yet. I remember the soul. I remember him now, too. Okay. So, let's talk to AI. I'm curious as to what AI... So, what I want is I want to understand... I want to... And this is the fun part. This is the fun part. And Matthew, feel free to chime in here. I am interested in alternatives to and how you would browse this fictional internet, right? Like, I'm just going to throw an idea out there, not saying this is what we're going to stick with, but I'm just trying to kind of like encourage some different thinking, right? So let's say let's say you have just dropped into a terminal and it says, welcome to the Intalink, right? The Intalink. This is what the computer has said. And then down here is your prompt. So now let's say you want to look at information about Yonora, which is the planet you live on or what, okay? What would just be an interest? So, and remember, we don't even have to have a concept of like websites, right? Like each page could be unique on this system. The world is our oyster, and I think that probably I think there are some things about the internet that are very intuitive. It makes sense, but I'm interested in those things that like could be improved, but we can't improve them in our internet because they're so fundamental to the internet. Like a good example of this would be the URL bar. So Google for years they wanted to get rid of the URL bar in their browsers. They hated it, and they want because they thought it was too technical, and so they wanted. I'm not sure what alternatives they came up with, but that's just kind of like what I'm thinking. So like a good example would be like load Yonora index. All right, that's very that's a very modern internet. Load Yonora. Load Yonora index. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. And then this would say, or no, you know what? You could do, okay, so a good example of what I'm talking about. I'm going to put this up here. So, Duvessa. So let's just go here, right? I'm just going to put this information up here. Okay, I'm going to put the basic information. I'm going to get rid of the map elements. And this is all going to make sense in a minute. So let's say that, like you said, show me Duvessa index or main. We'll just go with Duvessa.main. And then maybe what it spits back is Duvessa. And then it says, and then underneath of it, it says Duvessa is a coastal nation, blah, 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 blah. Basically this text up here, but in plain. And then it could return, and then it could read, I don't know. And then maybe you could do show me Duvessa population. Actually, that's not terrible. So show me Duvessa. This could be summary. Show me Duvessa population. And then it would say population of Duvessa. Okay, that's fine. Show me Duvessa.cities. Okay, I'm not hating this. Okay, now what this is up here, the top part, keep this separate in your mind, okay? The top part is the markdown file. So the way that I see this working is, first of all, I had a conversation with AI today, and he said that people do like me. He said that I do have friends, that people care, but that's beside the point. I had a conversation with AI about how I put the map element into the markdown directly. The AI said that would work, but that it's not exactly tool proof. And the reason is, and it made a good point, is that different tools that convert Markdown to HTML may handle unknown elements differently. So if the tool comes into, like if the tool encounters some type of HTML element it doesn't recognize, maybe it throws a warning. Maybe it actually renders the raw HTML element in red saying, I don't recognize. So you get what I'm saying? So what it recommended was that I use a span element, and then I can use attributes of the span element to do what I want. So if I go back to this, I'm going to pin this. So one of the things I could do is, we'll forget about the map element for now, but span. Okay, so first of all, I would want to identify the document. So we could do span. And this is just kind of what I was messing around with. So, and I'll explain all of this in a second. Documents. Okay. And I'm kind of just making this up as I'm going along, and I'm just kind of thinking out loud. I'm going to put this underneath. So again, this up at the top is what I would put in the markdown files. So this is a span element that just defines this as a document, which is kind of redundant. So we might remove it with the title of Duvessa. And then what you could do is you could have span Y-type section, or not title, Y-type section. Could just do data. Well, actually, where did my conversation with give me one sec. Was it under Yonora map? Or was it project lists? Okay, here's my conversation with AI. So What? No, wait, this wasn't it. This was an old version of it, I think. Let me see. Is this it? Yes, this was it. Okay. So what you could have is this would I like ID better because what this does, okay, ID Devesa document. This could be nation. Something like that. So, okay. So what I'm struggling with now, whoops. So, let's look at let's look, I'm trying to find another. So I actually have a repo within a repo here. I'm not using sub repos, and that's on purpose. Git pull rebase. Oh, it was okay. Okay. So if I look here, so what I defined this one. I'm going to name this Scratch. Where do I want to save this? You know our website. Let's just save this. Let's just create a new folder for now, and I'm just going to call it temp. And then under temp, I'm going to save this as scratch.md. Okay. So this would be a nation document, but if I look at this one, this is like a history, right? This is like a history of some war that's taking place in the world. So I'm going to add that as yet another type of wiki. Of another type of markdown file is what I should say. So what you could have here then is, again, I'm just kind of figuring this out as I go along. So if you have any suggestions, I would appreciate them. There are no bad ideas except for the ideas that Not Sure tells us about. Okay, so this could be another document, which makes me think, I'm starting to think document might be redundant, but I'm not convinced yet. So this could be document, I don't know, history, right? And then this would be YID. I don't know about that. I'm not, yeah, something like this might work. Okay, but what I'm thinking of is here, show me devesa.summary. So devesa would load up our, so these, when you type something in, it would be sent as a REST request to some service that we need to write. But the request would be wrapped in, I mean, it would just be simple. It would just be like request, right? It wouldn't even necessarily be show me. It would be request, like action, show me arguments. Like this is fine right here. Type. No. Show me arguments. Document. No, Devesa. Yeah. Okay. So this is what the request would look like. It would just be a request of an action. Show me arguments. I mean, like obviously this is going to be cleaned up at some point, and then we can optimize it as needed. But we would look at this. We would look at the first thing. It would load the document by the ID, and then so this is saying show me Devesa summary. So what you could do is here's the summary. I already started to do this. So you could do type data Y field summary, and then you just surround this entire block. So this actually becomes very easy to pragmatically say, okay, in the document Devesa, because the first argument would be the Devesa, and then the second argument summary would be the field or whatever data field we want to load. So now we're using, so do you see what I mean? So the advantage of this is you can define the data in line in the document, in the markdown document, without having to worry about the inline definitions being rendered as HTML. And actually, they will be rendered as HTML, but they don't do anything, right? Like span's not going to do anything unless it's defined. And since we're using like this y-type, like the AI originally suggested that I use Yonora because it was like, well, you could get into collisions, and I'm like, is there really going to be any like what is the risk of some other tool using y- as like some argument name to trigger off of some action? I think pretty low. So then you can go even further with this, right? Like span y type. But see, I'm using data a lot, so I don't know that you necessarily need to use data. But let's just go with it. And this is what I like to do, these kinds of exercises of kind of like typing out things the way I envision using them before I start implementation, because it helps work out the kinks and like the things that aren't going to make sense. And you could also do things like this. So there's a couple of implicit things happening here. Like, okay, so for example, this assumes that the data inside of this span element is the data of which you are interested in. And that's the same down here, right? Where we did span type data field capital, and then we have the Côte du Soleil, like the Cirque du Soleil, and then we close the span element. Whereas here, you might not want to do that, because that what you could do to kind of keep you could put the span element anywhere, but you might want to keep it next to the text that I have in order to just kind of keep things organized. But what you could do is you could do something like this. Let's see. Y type equals data. Y dash field equals population. And then, and then you could have y value equals that. And so you can see that the AI that's doing the autocomplete for me, it even suggested that, like, so now what I've done is I have the 12,500,000. I've explicitly laid that out in a format. And then the AI even suggested that, like, I have like a y dash format, which I guess, I mean, maybe, but that might be overkill. So the question I have then is this even necessary, right? So let's just keep going with it. Let's go with it, and then we can. Let's go with this, and it was fucking crazy. Not sure. First of all, this rich guy came in and he said, "Everybody, send me your PayPals," and we did, and then each of us got $5 fucking million. $5 fucking million each of us. Great money. And then he left, and now we all have $5 million. None of us knew your PayPal, not sure, so we weren't able to give you any. Lisa, I will share my $5 million with you, sweetheart. I will share with you. Okay, so let's see. I'm starting to feel that this Y type is redundant or not necessary, but we're going to keep going with it. Okay, so we have largest city. Perfect. Okay, and then I don't want to get too crazy with it. Okay. So now, what about this? So what would this look like from, how would you interact with this in our imaginary interlink system, right? So you can see where I have show me summary. Actually, I just had a great idea. Not a great idea. I had an idea. I've done this before, and I think it was fun when I did it, but I can't remember if there was a way to block you assholes from changing the focus. So I'm going to try this again. I'm going to share read only. Okay. All right. All right. And then how do I get the link? Copy collaboration link. Perfect. And I'm going to paste this into the chat. I'm going to start broadcasting on Addy Goes Places because that's monetized. This channel is not. I should start broadcasting on there. I should start streaming on there. Look at me like talking like I'm 70. I should start broadcasting on there. Okay, so I am going to put this collaboration link. If you guys are interested, I would be curious to know if you are able to. I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna come over here. Why don't you use a rich text editor? Are you Jesus Christ, you're terrible. God, you're terrible. Continue in web. All right. Continue as anonymous. Addy in browser. Okay. All right, so it says I've joined. So now, are you able to change the focus? Like if I go here. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm browsing over here off screen, and I'm making sure that it's just such that you guys can just browse around. Meanwhile, okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. So like if I go over to where is Scratch? Oh, okay. And if I go down here. Okay, perfect. Okay, excellent. All right, guys. That's excellent. Okay, so again, Matt Not Sure says there are no files available. I don't believe you. I absolutely do not believe you. I believe that this is a user error. This is 100% a user error. I do not believe you. I don't. I just don't. Sorry, I don't. Okay. So, I'm trying to think of what this would look like. Huh. Okay, so this would list the cities, city 1, and this would list city 2 and city 3, so on. Okay. And then down here, another one, show me show me, so let's see. So this would be the document name. Oh my God, I'm ready to ban Not Sure. God. Oh my God, no, stop. That's so distracting. Oh my God, I hate. Okay, how do I ban? Ban. No. Follow to the side. What does that do? Oh, I don't want to follow you to the side anymore. Okay. All right. So, oh my God. Okay. So what you could do, I guess, what would make sense here is you could do show me Devesa Moa War, right? And then maybe what this does is this shows the sections. So if I come up here and I define a section, like this section would be span, Y type. I guess actually this is kind of where section kind of might come in handy. So let's see. If I do Y type equals section. Oh my God. Section. YID background and causes. Okay. No. Not ID. Field. I don't know that data makes sense here. So let's see. Maybe just Y field. Y dash name. background and causes. Okay. I got to think about this because what I'm thinking is, okay, show me Devesa Moa War, background and causes, right? That's a hell of a thing to type out, but whatever. And then what you would do is you would type like the user would enter this and it would type out this text, the background and causes. Okay, easy enough. All right, it types that, it prints that out. Where is Daniel the solar engineer? We banned him. Okay. So maybe that does something like this, background. So if this, instead of, to just kind of confuse the matters less. No, wait a minute. Okay. Maybe we do need Y type. Section. Y field, background and causes. Maybe that's ID. Well, I'm not sure what I want, right? Because if I did this, okay, well, let me figure out what I want first. When I background and causes, this is what I would see. So it would type out some title like this, just in this case, not in all cases, but in this case. So maybe this could be signified as a title, and then this is the content or the value. Addie, you kind of look like Parappa, the rapper. I'm going to assume that Parappa, the rapper, is a very good-looking, hot, sexy, middle-aged man. That's what I'm going to assume. I'm going to look at this off screen really quick because I don't want to accidentally load dick pics. Parappa, the rapper. Thanks, Lisa. I'm not even going to dignify that by showing it on camera. Not even going to. Okay. You should ask Grok to make you a oh my fucking god. Oh my god, you're driving me so fucking crazy. You drive like you're driving me more crazy than Will Tyler drives me crazy. Like it is crazy. It is crazy how much you drive me nuts. But you know what? My mom drives me nuts the same way, and it's because I love her that she drives me so crazy. So do what you will with that, not sure. Do what you will with that information. Oh my god. Oh my god. What is it with you and the fucking rich text editor? Why? Why do I need a fucking rich text editor? Why? I don't need one. We got Addy Ursus in the ring before GTA 6. Okay. All right. So there's another thing here, right? So there could be the show me Devesa TOC, which is the table of contents, and then that would list out, what would that, I guess that, oh, okay. Wait. Just wait a minute. Just wait a minute, okay? Just wait a minute. All right. So we're going to go show me Devesa TOC, and then what this would do, not quite that, but I mean, I think the AI is on the right track. And then, okay, so this would be background and causes. Let me see, Devesa, what other sections? I don't know. The war's turning point, right? So this would actually, let's just, instead of that, let's just go to, we'll just go to this, right? And then let's add another section just for good measure, right? Legacy. All right. And then this is going to be incomplete, but that's why the title of this file is called Scratch, because this is just scratch data to try and understand what it is we want to build. Okay. So we have this here. So when we list it, when we do the show TOC, it would actually list out like that the war's turning point, which I think was a section. No, it was not a section. The AI is getting a little too much, and then the legacy. Okay, so I guess what this is showing, what this table of contents is showing, it's going to show you all the sections, and then the sections are basically just headers. Right, so let's see. So we have that. I have to go pee again. I'm going to go pee one more time. I'll be right back. All right, boys. All right. Okay. So did you figure it out yet? Matthew, have you designed it yet? Okay. So this is what the table of contents would be. Section. So let's say then that the next command was show me Duvessa Moa War. This is getting too complicated. This is getting too fancy, I would say. So I would say legacy, right? And then it would print out this text here. Now, how have we defined? Okay, so what we have done is we have defined this as a section. And then, okay, that's not terrible. So we have, maybe section isn't the right word. Maybe header is more appropriate. Header. I don't know. What do you guys think? So what I'm trying to do is what's getting me kind of stuck is these, like, the title of a section and the data in that section, they're related things, but they're not necessarily the same thing, right? So this legacy is a good example. I'm going to delete this one just because we don't need too many examples, and I don't want to litter this with examples. So here you have the header, and then when you want to print out the actual data, I don't know. It doesn't feel quite right to me. TOC would also be like a special thing. And then here's the data up here. I mean, this isn't bad. I feel like we're close. I feel like we're pretty close, actually. I feel like this is actually fairly close. I don't... The type... So let me see what the AI suggested in terms of fields that we definitely need to use. This wasn't it. This was something else. So it said Y type... Y ID, Y field, Y value, and then the Y reference. I feel like the Y reference is getting a little too fancy. And avoid Y type data. Okay, well, what did it say exactly? Okay. Y field is better than Y key, right? Because my first thought was key value. So just name a key and name it value. This is saying, okay, your instinct is correct. Y field implies a field on an entry on an entity along the database vocabulary. This reads almost like a schema. So span Y type nation field population. I don't like that at all. Avoid Y type data. This is the only part of your proposal I'd push back on. It's too generic. Everything is data. Okay. You'll eventually want things like nation, city, person, faction, port, religion, event. So better would be Y type nation field population. So one thing to think about is what the REST service looks like, right? And not even so much what the REST service looks like, but how the REST service gets its data. And what I'm thinking is, during build time, and that is build time of the website, what we will do is we will scan all of the markdown files and we'll create basically I guess to start out, we can create one monolithic JSON file, and from that JSON file, everything is served. I'm not crazy about that, but I think that would be fine to start out. I guess it would be. You know what? It wouldn't even necessarily be fine to start out. It would be fine to start implementation on, and that feels like one of those things where, okay, I have a direction where I want to start in, even though I'm fairly certain I'm going to change directions. I don't know to which direction I'm going to change. I'm just fairly certain I'm going to change directions. But I need a direction to start in, even if I think I'm eventually going to end up changing it. Does that make sense? Is anybody even still there? Matthew, not sure. Lisa, I'd even accept some feedback from Daniel right now. Like, I wish Daniel was here. Like, I miss Daniel. But none of you asked. It makes me think, like, did my computer lock up? Am I seizing? Like, have I had a massive seizure and I still think everything's, like, just normal? Like, I don't understand what's happening. Let me look. Okay. All right, well, my espresso thing is out for delivery, so I'm hoping it shows up soon. Okay. Okay, everybody's left me. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm also... What do you mean you have no idea what's going on? I'm making a rich text editor. Oh my God, I hate you both so much. So Matthew, I'm going to explain this to Matthew because I know Matthew will get it because he's a junior engineer, but he's still a bright guy. All right, I mean, good junior engineers, they'll get concepts. People like not sure, hopeless. Okay, so I'm going to explain this. So Matthew, remember how I talked about the in-game internet system, right? And like how and again, I'm going to preface this by saying this is one of those things that I don't think it would add much value to a player. It's just one of those things that I find fun to implement. So that's why it's getting implemented. So I'm just going to preface it because I know the question's going to come up. Well, how does this enrich the game? How does this add any kind of value to the game? It doesn't. Well, I'm not going to say it doesn't, but it's not adding a lot. I'll just admit this is definitely just one of those things that I am doing just because I find it fun to do. This is the type of thing that I would find fun to do. All right, so let's start there. Okay, so I talked about the in-game internet system and how it would be fun if in the game I see a computer and I press the button to interact with it, and then I interact with it and I'm dropped at a terminal, right? So I'm dropped at a terminal in the game and I can navigate the in-game internet, which I call Interlink. Very, very, very original. All right. So in the interlink system, what I want to do is, so we have the Yonora.world website, which I assume you looked at it because you were looking at it earlier, right? Here it is on screen. What I want to have it such that the data you see on the website also appears in this interlink system in the game, right? It appears Yonora Online. We need to make it YOLO. Yonora Online. It needs to be YOLO. YOLO. Yonora Online Octopus. No, that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, okay. So the data on the website, I'm just going to repeat myself, but so what I want is such that so that you can, in the in-game interlink system, you can browse the same data that you would see outside of the game on the website, right? Okay, with me so far? Makes sense. The data here that you're looking at on this screen or in any of these files, this exists in Markdown. These are all Markdown files. So what this website is doing, it's using a TypeScript tool. It might be JavaScript, but it's using some tool, a node tool, and it converts the Markdown to HTML. Right, with me so far, and that's how this data gets rendered, right? That's how this gets rendered, and why it looks like it doesn't look just like plain text. It looks like HTML because the Markdown files are transpiled or converted, whatever you want to call it. They're converted to HTML, and then that's what gets rendered in the browser. Okay, with me so far. So one of the things I talked about is, okay, with that conversion process, how am I able to? So if I go to the GitHub and I look at the same Markdown files, aka the wiki, which is what I've been calling it, some of them have. I want to show you a better example than just that. Let's look at this Devesa file. This has an image, right? This has a static PNG image inside of the Markdown file. Now, if I go look at the corresponding file on the website, I don't see that image. Actually, you do. You can see here it's a broken image, but that's easy enough to fix. But down here, it's a broken image. But I do see this interactive map, which I just love this, and I want to build it out. I just want to build it out so bad. But anyway, I see this interactive map. So I asked the rhetorical question of how am I embedding this map in the Markdown in such a way that it's not getting rendered when I view it on GitHub, but it is getting rendered when I view it on the website. And the way that I am doing that is that if you look at the raw Markdown, I have... Ooh, I put that there. But I have this HTML. So in case you didn't know, Markdown, you can embed HTML in Markdown, and it's perfectly valid, right? Markdown is really it was originally just designed to just be a simplistic HTML in a way. But as a result, you can put HTML elements in Markdown. Well, I used the fact that unknown HTML elements do not get rendered. There's a asterisk by that statement, which I'll come back to in a second. So I use the fact that unknown HTML elements do not get rendered. So in the process of converting the Markdown to the HTML, what I can do is I can hook into that basically, and I can say, oh, well, when you do that conversion, look for this map element. Look for the map element, my wife's home. And when you're rendering the HTML, go ahead and insert the required code to render this map. And you can see here that I have not only the map element, but I have things like I have some certain arguments on it, like, you know, the zoom and the coordinates and that kind of thing. Let me go say hello to my wife, and I'll be right back. Yes, I can. Is she home? So I was explaining to Matthew what's going on. Let me bring this back. So again, I'm able to hook into that markdown to HTML process and then kind of insert some custom things. And that's how I'm able to get this map rendered on the website. Okay, perfect. So what am I working on? So let's go back to the interlink system, right? The in-game internet system. So what I'm doing over here in the editor that you guys were looking at is this bottom part where it says, welcome to Interlink. This is supposed to be just like a draft, a mock draft session of me going on the computer or of a player. And then so the player would type show me devesa.summary. And then it basically just prints out Devesa is a coastal nation, blah, 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 blah. Right? Show me Devesa population, blah, blah, blah. Show me Devesa cities. So all this data exists in the markdown, but the markdown is very unstructured data. It's unstructured, right? Like, you know, it's unstructured. Let's just put it like that. So what I am doing here is I am trying to come up with a scheme where I'm using the same kind of thing that I used with the map element, right? Where you can have HTML-like elements in your markdown. They won't get rendered, and you can trigger off of them to do custom things. So I'm trying to use that in order to decorate the markdown such that the data is in a structured and extractable format. So if I look here and I go to show me, let's start with an easier one. I'm just going to put this up top. Show me devesa.population. So again, where you see these dashed lines, these are conceptually different files, right? So I'm just putting it all in one scratch pad just so we can kind of visualize everything on one screen. So I do show me devesa.summary. So up here, this first section of document is the devesa.md file. It's really not, but look, you know what I mean. So what I've done is I've said, okay, so this is how, right? This is what it looks like today. I have some, okay. This is what it looks like right now. But anyway, so in my scratch work, I'm saying, okay, well, maybe we could have we're going to use span elements because span elements are actually valid HTML and they won't get rendered. The reason that we're not using just custom elements is because some tools, depending on what tool you're using to convert the markdown to HTML, you might get an error or a warning or some weird render, who knows. But if you use a span element, that is an actual HTML element, and you can kind of put custom arguments into it, or custom parameters, or whatever you want to call them. So here I've said, okay, span, and then type is document nation. Again, this is all still preliminary, but the important part here is ID, and the ID is Devesa. And then down here in the same document, you have a Y field of summary. And then you have, and then I've decorated this entire text with this span element, which is identified as summary. So when I go down here and I say, show me devesa.summary, ideally what would happen is some process, our REST service, would have basically gone and said, okay, well, devesa.summary. So I need to look up the Devesa document, which is like, oh, okay, that's what this document is. And inside the Devesa document, I need to look at the summary. And so it's going to go, oh, okay, so here's the Devesa document because it's ID, and then the field is summary, and okay, and here is the content of summary, so let me return that. And then that is what has been returned here. So that's what we're doing. Basically, we're trying to define this syntax, or like what makes sense of this syntax, how it should be structured and everything. So does that explain what I'm trying to do? And not sure, I swear to God, if you mention a rich text editor once again, I am going to fucking beat you. I am going to beat you, and then I will beat your children. I know you don't have children, but I will hunt you down in the future when you have children, and I will beat them. Please stop. I don't want a fucking rich text editor. Stop. Stop. That's not, it's not my use case. Let me ask you, in what I have described, where would a rich text editor do me any good? Any good at all? Where? In the workflow I have described, where would a rich text editor help me? I will wait. I'm waiting. Where does a rich text editor help me? I made a rich text editor that can create markdown files that can be translated into HTML. How does that help me? Have I been sitting here? At what point in the stream tonight have I said, oh, I'm really struggling? Why don't you just write HTML? Oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's hurting. It's hurting. It's hurting. Oh God, it's hurting. It's hurting so much. What is this for? So, Razman, I'm unable right now to work on the game. So what we're doing is we're working on something that is game adjacent, right? That's the best way I can describe it. We're working on something that is game adjacent. And like I explained 10 minutes ago, this is not something, I understand that this is not something that will necessarily enrich the game. This is just something that I find interesting and want to work on. That's all it is. And it's not going to add much to the game. And to Not Shore's point, no, I'm not even going to dignify it. I'm not even going to dignify his suggestion. I'm done. I can't do it. Okay. So, all right. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find the markdown files. So the markdown files are easier to read. They're easier to edit. And I mean, that's really it. I mean, you have a point that, yes, I could just use HTML files. I could, but actually it becomes more difficult because of the way the website, I would have to, a lot of the data on the website is dynamic, right? So could I have each of these be their own individual .html files? Sure, I could. But then it just becomes harder to edit, and I don't know. I mean, it's just easier. It's just easier, I think. I think it's just easier to modify markdown files than it is to modify HTML files. Okay. So so I'm trying to figure out what makes the most sense in terms of like decoration. So what I've done is I've included two different types of markdown files in this scratch work. The top one is is the one that where it talks about a nation, right? Like a nation in this in-game world. And then the second one is a document that talks about about some history inside the in-game world. So I guess maybe defining a document and then what else would you have? I mean, there could be others, right? Like history, there could be, yeah. So one of the things, let's think of a small, but what is it for? So in the game St. Abilene, right? You have this in-game internet system. That's how I think of it. And as I said, I think it would be cool if in the game You see a computer terminal in the game, and then you press E or Q or whatever it is to use the terminal. And then when you use the terminal, you're dropped into a command prompt. And then this down here, you drop into a command prompt where you can type in show me divesa.population, and then it spits back divesa.population. Show me divesa.summary, and it spits back a summary about that. Show me show me Divesa MOA war table of contents, and then it. So that's what it's for. That's what it's for. Again, does it add a rich experience to the game? Not necessarily. No, probably not. Will it be the most popular feature? No, I'm sure it won't. Will it make or break the game? Nah, probably not. Does the developer writing the game enjoy working on this feature? 100%. 100%. And that's why we're doing it. Addie, hand middle finger waving. Yes. Okay. So, I was hoping that this would be a collaborative effort to define these span elements and how they make sense. But no, this is apparently the Markdown rich text editor night. Let's just find a fucking rich text editor and do that. Oh my God. This is the backstory that only real nerds will enjoy. Yes. There is a big backstory. So again, Razman, you can go to yanora.world. It is a very rough draft, very, very rough website, but you can go to it and you can read some stuff about, you can read kind of the direction I'm going in. And honestly, part of why I've, so when I'm on planes, I like writing backstory when I'm on planes, and I'm on planes often. So there we go. Oh my God, I posted it on. I'm banning you. I hate you. I hate you so much. Okay. So Matthew has nothing to offer. That's fine. All right. So let's see what this would look like then. So here, first of all, this map element, I want to remove the map element. So I thought I already asked AI to do that. Did I? Okay, so no, that's Scratch. Okay. So that's another thing, right? So if I'm here, what should the map element look like exactly? So it should probably look like span Y type. So there's this guy at work. I love him. He's a great guy. He's funny. He's very smart. He's good at his job. But I always laugh because he just does, when he talks, every time he talks, it's like, so, well, we could do that. So, well, I don't know. So, it's just always with the so. Okay. All right. So let me see if we include this. So this map element, we want to basically turn that into a span itself. So we could do, so this is actually a good opportunity. So we could do span Y type equals map element. And then it would just have Y zoom. Yeah, I think that would be better. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask AI to do that. Will Tyler would be really happy if he was here. Okay. Change it so... Oh, wait. Did I already do this? No, I didn't. Okay. Another AI suggested that... actually, no. Let me go ahead and get the context. Okay. Another AI suggested that instead of using map element, I should use a expand like I'm planning to do for other things. Change the code such that in places where I have things like, okay, let me put this down here, and then this will be up here. Let me see, just right there. Where I have things like this. It will instead use a format like this. All right. So the AI should run off and do this. It's not going to be that big of a change, I don't think. Okay. Oh, it's actually going to change it in the markdown files too. All right. And then we're going to wrap up. I'm going to go downstairs, hang out with my wife. Tomorrow night, I will be a little late. I have a meeting at 4 p.m. tomorrow. But it's with the CEO, so I can't complain too much. Okay, so let's see. Done. I've replaced all 9 instances of elements across. Okay, keep. Okay, but I don't want to keep this one in Scratch. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we'll just... I do want to rebuild. Okay. Okay, that's perfect. Okay. I think this is good. All right. So the way that this is structured is because, again, there's 3 different repos. There is the website repo, there is the markdown repo, and there's the map repo. The map repo is not really used yet. The markdown repo, the website repo, what the website repo does is it pulls in the markdown repo, and then it basically does some stuff and uploads that. So I'm going to make the changes to the markdown repo first, converting all the map elements to span elements. Okay. And that is going to remove the maps temporarily. Oh, wait a minute. All right, commit and push. I just found something really cool. You can save images inside a markdown file by converting it to base 64. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can do that with you can do that HTML. It's a SVG. I forget what SVG stands for. Vector graphics, standard vector graphics. I forget what SVG stands for, but anyway, Parappa is not heteros. Okay, all right. So that was. Oh, you know what? The AI didn't change the code. It just changed. Okay. Now you need to update the code to process. Wait a minute. Process the span elements as required. Hence, right now, all the code, now you need to update the TypeScript code. TypeScript code to process all the elements. And right now, the TypeScript is still looking for the map elements. All right. Here's what I want right here. Okay. Yeah. I think I accidentally created something useful. Look at it now. No. I'll let Matthew fall on that grenade. Now I updated Markdown page to handle all the span type of format. Okay. Done. Okay. Let's look at... Okay. It's going to build, and then I'm going to run dev, and if everything runs, I'm going to commit my code, and then I'm going to go downstairs, and I'm going to forget all the fuck about rich text editors. I'm going to forget about them. Because I'm going to have fucking nightmares at this rate. All right. Okay. This looks good. How can I verify that this is actually... What I can do is, I think I can do this. It's cool. I can save an image as text. Yeah, like I said, like SVGs have been around for a while. Wait a minute. Yonora, wiki, have.md. Oh, okay. So it's trying to do md.mb. Ah. Okay. I am going to assume this is working. I'm just going to assume it works. Not sure has discovered base 64 encoding. Congratulations. Congratulations. One thing I'm going to do is I want to, let's see, if I want to go to have, and then I want to view. It's still not working. Let's just open up a new connection just to make sure. And if I go here, and then I go here, and then I go here, and then I go here, view, discard local file, then download and edit file anew. I love the word anew. Fuck. It's not doing what I thought it would do. Oh. Wait. Oh. I think I know why. Okay. Process new span elements. What? What? Is deployment broken? Process new span elements. I think deployment's broken. Deployment is broken. I don't know why deployment is broken. I'm here to learn whether you like it or not. That's right. You tell them. Why is deployment... Could you learn why deployment's broken? Huh. It's actually not even triggering. Wait a minute. Okay, so this job should run whenever I push to master. Am I pushing the master? I am. Okay, let's just do this. Let's do get... Can I repush if I force? Everything's up to date. Okay. All right. All right. Let's do this. Let's just... Oh. Oh. Something's wrong. Make a markdown file, then translate the markdown to HTML. Where I'm just ignoring. I don't know what you're talking about anymore. And actually, that's exactly how this preview here. I guarantee you that's exactly how this is working. Okay, so that is interesting. Oh wait. If I save this, it's not coming up there, which makes me think oh wait, I'm okay. All right. That I understood. This is what I want. Okay, so this, now that, and this, and now that, and then this, and then that, and then that, push to this. Now, whoa. When did deployment break? Make sure the top panel stays fixed. That's the last one that ran. Fixing text for idiotic dark mode users, and then we haven't had anything run since then. Huh. Let me verify the code is actually there. And now that is interesting. No, there's no rate limit. I would also expect, if there was some rate limit, I would expect to get a message. See, look, it's just not triggering. You see how these all have this green check mark, which means that like the build job ran and that it passed. But for whatever reason, this is not. All right. My dinner's going to be done soon. So I am going to go downstairs and I'm going to enjoy that. I'll work on this downstairs. Everything's pushed, so it should be okay. But thanks for joining me, guys. This has been fun. I love you guys. I know I'm a bit of a dick, but I love you guys. I really appreciate the time that you guys spend watching my stream, even if you're not paying attention and busy doing UI and you know, whatever. That's fine. Love you guys. I'll see you on the Discord. The meeting tomorrow that I have at 4 o'clock should only take like 20 minutes. So I'm going to schedule this stream to start at 4:30. Might start before then. I'll see you then. My rich text, I'm fucking banning you. I'm banning you. All right, guys.